Life is so rough, but I'm so fortunate to have met you. By orphaned account, on you 3. Episode 10, Chapter 7. Epilogue. It was with pain in his back and flank that Shouta sat up on the sparring match, grinning widely at his son. You managed to throw me that time. Good job. The 13-year-old blushed darkly, rubbing the back of his neck beneath his ponytail where his dark green curls were coming unwound. You let me. When have I ever lied to you? When you and Pops told me Santa Claus was real? Should have paused, and then countered. When have I ever lied to you about your training? Meekly, Izuku began to smile down at the ground. Never. Hey, chin up. Shoulda gently chided his son as he went to stand next to Izuku. Yeah, Hisashi shouted from the sidelines as he stretched, warming up for his turn at a spar. You know we love to see your smile, Zuzu. Izuku blanched at the nickname, quickly whirling towards his other father and shouting back, Pops, do not call me that at school, please. No promises, Zuzu. We, Shouta stated, quickly intercepting himself between his husband and son as to not let some kind of fight break out. We'll treat you with the same dignity and respect as the other students, kiddo. That being said, if you manage to find another alley scramble to get into... Hey, it's not vigilanteism if I'm not using a quirk. Even Sakati said so. So it's obviously not vigilanteism. Izuku rambled, poking at his father's with his foot bare and wiggling his toes. See? Pinky joint and everything. From the sidelines, Hisashi shouted again. That science is flawed! Whatever, Pops. Jeez. Vigilanteism aside, Shouta said as he crouched in front of his son, placing a fist against the boy's chest. I don't want you getting into any more fights, okay? Not beyond the sparring mat. Do you understand, problem child? Izuku scoffed. Not a problem child. Izuku. Yes, Dad, I understand. My God, it's not like I'm gonna challenge Bakugo to a fight to the death or something during the admissions exam. Wouldn't put it past you, Hisashi called as he slid up to his family, an older and slower Teddy slinking up after him, tucking his husband and son in for a group hug, dutifully ignoring Shota's scoff. Hisashi kissed both of his boys on their cheeks before crouching down to ruffle Teddy's fur. The dog barked happily, leaning into the touch and licking at Hisashi's wrist. Wow, Hisashi said suddenly. I never thought of this before, but... Glancing over at his son, who had moved away from the group hug to go run some stretches of his own, Hisashi murmured to his husband, If not for Teddy, we may have never gotten Izu. Shoulda paused, thinking it over, before slowly nodding back. Yeah, we would have taken that mail he was bringing to us and not thought anything more of it. Or him. Teddy gave a small wolf, and Hisashi turned back to where he'd stopped scratching behind the dog's ear. All right, boy, all right. You'll get an extra treat tonight. How about that? For being such a good boy and all. It's almost that day, you know? The day, the anniversary, of when they've gotten to adopt Izuku. All of the official paperwork had taken a few months to process, of course, but the day Izuku had chosen his name, chosen their name, was coming up. And it was going to be a big one. 5 years. Shoulda said quietly, drawing his husband's attention. Hisashi hummed. Can't wait for 10. And 15. Then 20. And... Pops, are we sparring or not? Hisashi called back, twirling his bow staff up in the air and catching it as it came back down. Shoda chuckled, smacking Hisashi back and shoving him towards their kid. Best not keep him waiting. Never would, Sho. We've been through that already. It's not the best to wait a day longer. Hey, you're that kid from the entrance exam, shouted the bubbly brown-haired girl. Izuku didn't know her name, but she was surrounded by a small gaggle of friends. A girl with a frog quirk and dark green hair to match Izuku's, a tall boy with glasses, and then a blonde boy with light blue eyes. Wait, You know Zuzu? None other than Mona Moneto shouted, and Izuku rolled his eyes. Boy, you shouldn't be shouting in class. He replied embarrassedly, earning a scoff from his cousin. It's Neto, not Neko, you. I'm Suasabi. The frog girl interjected, rebuting as she hopped to stand between their cousins. That's Ochaku Uraraka, and this is Tenya Ida. It is very nice to meet you. Welcome to 1A, the hero course. You're transferring from support, right? Suyu inquired, a finger pointed at her lower lip, as she tilted her head to the side. That's cool. Even cooler. Ochaku interjected her friend's train of thought. Because he won the sports festival. The entire thing Oh, what's your name again? Grinning from ear to ear, Izuku introduced himself with a bow. Sorry about that, I forgot. My name is Izuku Yawaza. Thank you for accepting me to your class. I hope we can all be good friends. The chorus of cheers coming from the small group in front of him made Izuku huff with laughter. However, movement from the corner of his eye drew Izuku's attention to the back of the classroom. A boy with dual-tone hair and a scar over his eye caught Izuku's gaze, but only for a moment. The boy was quickly looking back down at his desk, not to speak to anyone again. Well, that just won't do, Izuku thought to himself. Looks like I've got another friend to make today. He was cut off by Hitoshi running up behind him and slinging an arm around his neck, nearly strangling the life out of him. Toshi, what the? Uncle Shouta says class is about to start. So you better take your seat, hero kids. Dude, you're a hero too now? Nevertheless, the two transfer students dolefully sat at their seats. Hitoshi sat in front of Izuku, at one of the front of the class. The other students just barely managed to find their way to their seats before the door was slammed open, and Izuku's father was slinking into his way to the classroom. Eyes narrowed over his suspiciously silent students, catching Izuku's gaze. Shouta huffed when he realized one of his new nephews and his son must have tipped the other students off. Turning to the podium, Shouta cleared his throat and said, Welcome, newcomers, to Class 1A. Izuku beamed back, because not only was this one of his father's, one of his teachers. No, this was one of his heroes. Someone he was going to be like someday. And he would, someday, Izuku would also rescue a small child. A little girl with white hair, and a power that was too strong for her body. A little girl who was feared by those around her, except for those who knew her best. Her family, her cousins, Neto and Hitoshi, her grandmothers, Yumi and Michika. Her fathers, Hisashi and Shouta. But mostly, her big brother, Izuku Yazawa. And someday, she would smile. No, they made them cousins! I can't ship them in this fic. God damn it! Ugh! Well, I mean, I could pull a Sweet Home Alabama, but we're not doing that. Okay, in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna, in my head, pretend that, once Izuku goes to UA, Izuku and Hitoshi are like, get together. But no, you had to rip that away from me, didn't you? Orphaned account? You gotta rip it away from me. Now I know why I don't remember this last chapter, because I refuse to remember it. I got that memory gun from Gravity Falls and just chapter 7, life is rough, but I am so fortunate to have met you, kind of situation. Because no, okay. Jokes aside, that was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I think my only pet peeve is I would have loved for Hitoshi to not be Izuku's cousin, so I could ship them together. And I don't want to retort to shipping him with Bakugo, do not get me wrong. Ugh, fine. I'll step back to Bakugo. I say this as if BKDK is not one of my favorite ships as well. Like, BKDK and Totodeki are like at the top. Like, those are the two that I ship the most, if I'm being honest. Right? Those are the two I ship the most. Totodeki is there too, but I mainly ship BKDK and Totobaku. Totobaku? No, that's Todoroki and Izuku. Shindeku, there you go. I was like, what the fuck was it? I can't believe I forgot the name of my favorite ship, but Shindeku, absolutely love it. BKDK is also really good, but I kind of like Shindeku a little more. It goes into bouts of like I like Shindeku more and then I like BKDK more and stuff like that. A lot of the times BKDK ends up being one of my top. The second, you know. But I hope you guys know, most of the time, like, they're together, but like, what's it called? They're, like, you know, one goes over the other, but like, the difference in words of how much I read every year is literally so small, so minuscule. Obviously, and throughout all the history of the past, I think I started recording how much I read about 4 years ago, roughly 3-4 years ago, right? I erased the data of a certain fandom because I don't give a shit about that fandom anymore, and I don't want the data of that fandom. For the most part, I just read My Hero Academia, but I'm pretty sure right now... Oh, no, I still have the data of that fandom. Never mind. I'm like, I thought I erased it, but no, I still have the data of that fandom. But for right now, My Hero Academia is the one that I mainly always read. It's very rare when I read any other, you know, any other fandom. I kind of have an addiction to AO3. I mean, to My Hero Academia specifically. But the literal difference between Shindeku and BKDK and the overall like score is literally 500,000 words, which you might think, oh, that's not that much. The difference between Shindeku and Erasermic is 1,007,000 words. 1,007,000 words. No, it's not 1,007,000 words. It's just 700,000 words, right? Then the difference between that one and, per se, Kiribaku is quite literally 1,000,000 words. Like, the separation between each one is, like, really huge. So, also, the separation between BKDK and Gen is 2 million and something words. So, yeah, we're never going to reach that one. That one is far off. That one is... Yeah, that one is far off. There's... Well, in my defense, a lot of fics are Gen fics. And I will say, a lot of fics that I put in the Gen category actually have, like, let's say, for example, BKDK in it, or Tododeku in it, or stuff like that. So if I'm being honest, a lot of the Gen fics, the ships that are in here are mainly Shindeku, right? But I classify it as a Gen fic for the simple fact that, you know, it's Shindeku. Or, what's it called? For the simple fact that it's, too much of, Gen to be considered a ship fic. Like, for example, Life is Rough, or not Life is Rough, what's another one? Just Trying to Survive and Learn Along the Way. That one is very much a Gen fic, but I'm pretty sure it also has a ship in it. I don't know. Screech is another one. It has Denki and Izuku, but I would classify that one as a Gen fic because it's not a ship fic, you know? Same with stuff like an Unexpected Futures, very much, you know. Trying to see. You know, stuff like that, where it's like, it very much is one, not the other kind of situation, you know? So, yeah, anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server, merch shop, and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.